Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast in a game between Prodigy versus Ladabaz. Hopefully I'm saying that name right, Ladabaz. If I am not, then I will just hopefully refer to him as the red Protoss player and I don't get flamed too much. The red Protoss player is spawning here on the bottom right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Prodigy, the blue Terran player, is spawning on the top left hand side of the map. This is Shakura's Plateau, Terran versus Protoss, and you guys may notice that there is a little bit more Terran versus Protoss in my cast as of late. That's a little bit of a personal bias, as that actually is perhaps my worst matchup right now. Just having a lot of difficulty with it, not being able to play and execute. I don't know what good builds are, don't know the timings, and because I get so limited amount of time to actually cast, play, and do anything StarCraft related, this is part of my studying as well as my cast to you. Now we'll see. Prodigy is opening up with a front door barracks. He may follow it up with a front door supply depot. May follow it up with a front door barracks. Meanwhile, the red Protoss player deciding to build close to home with that one pylon. He may decide to scout out with this probe, and that's after the gateway. And I like this timing after the gateway, just because if you see that your opponent has walled off, you can generally guess based upon the timing of when that supply depot is down whether or not they have gas. The probe will be making its way across the map and then coming over here. Actually, it looks like this probe is not gonna find his opponent in time, and Prodigy may set up or may be able to set up a supply depot here after the barracks is done, and that is going to cause thus the red Protoss player to be perhaps playing a bit in the dark. You can see the probe now moving around. Perhaps that is the reason why many Protoss players do scout after that 9 pylon. That does make a little bit more sense now that I think about it, and we should be getting in a cybernetics core. There we go, as this game does get underway. Probe now making its way up. He will spot that there is a supply depot here, but the timing on the supply depot is no strange. It's not that much different. So the Marine now chasing away that probe, and if the red Protoss player assumes that there is gas and perhaps opens up with a different tech build, that may actually hurt him in the long run. We'll see how that will all work out. Meanwhile, the SCV is also scouting in the wrong direction. It will be a little bit of time before he finds his opponent, deciding to go all the way in, making sure that that nexus isn't tucked away. The probe able to slip away at 4 hit points, but a new Marine does come in the front and gets the final shot, gets the final kill. One Marine does all the work, the other Marine gets the kill steal. Now, 3 Marines on the front door. Command center is being established by Prodigy. It looks like Prodigy is going to have a very nice economic lead moving into the game as long as he can push back this early aggression. Now, a Stalker is out as well. That SCV's days are pretty much numbered, knowing that it can't survive. It tries to do a bit more scouting, and we'll see what's going to happen here. You can see that the red Protoss player currently has a fairly strong economy with 22 probes, and if he goes for perhaps a robotics facility or additional gateways, he may be able to place down pressure, but instead he's going to be going for a nexus as well. His nexus is slightly behind his opponent's command center. That was because he didn't scout out his opponent in time, didn't see that it was gasless. And by the time that the Zealots and the Stalkers make their way up that ramp and see that there are a lot of Marines there, they know that the expansion, the expansion is perhaps, well, talking like one specific character in Big Bang Theory. Yeah, that expansion has been placed down. Sentries are being established as well. We do have the second assimilator finally coming in. More gateways being established, so it is going to be some sort of variation on a 3-gate expand, as these players are now executing their builds to the best of their ability. We are getting a robotics facility. We do have 26 probes to 24 SCVs, 2 mules. Now Prodigy with the economic lead, and is going to just continue this economic lead and perhaps be able to just train up a lot more infantry. Taking a look at the base of Prodigy, he is currently running off of 2 gas, but and those gas have been recently established. No more than 150 gas has been harvested from each of these refineries, and now we are getting into more barracks. So it is a 3 racks build. Stim is being researched, and we'll see if Prodigy throws down a reactor and another tech lab. Supply depot is also being sporadically placed across the map. Prodigy doing a good job not being supply blocked, as he is training up Marauders and Marines. Needs to continue that as we now finally see a factory and perhaps transition into a starport. Red Protoss hoping that the Zealots and the Sentries here on the front door will be enough. You can see 4 gas now being established by Red Protoss. He wants to get as many assimilators up as possible, and now finally the Red Protoss player will be able to gain sight into what's going on inside his opponent's base. This is normally bad if you do not know what your opponent is doing 8 minutes into the game, but we'll see what exactly he is able to scout out and what he's going to do, as a Marine is now simply on patrol. Not going to spot this observer though, as the observer is, as you know, cloaked. It will just continue to fly straight inside the space. You can see that the starport is being established. We are going into the reactor, and oh, there's a nice scanner sweep. Prodigy realizing with the little light bending from the cloak that an observer was nearby and has been taken out. So we'll see what's all going to transition here. There are Marines. No combat shield just quite yet. We are getting Stim level 1 weapons upgrade, and Prodigy just really relying on his macro at this stage. He is going to have to deal with a lot of force fields though, and perhaps even Guardian Shield. Guardian Shield with armor, very difficult to get around. Zealots have a base 1 armor, and add in the base or the level 1 armor, and then the Guardian Shield is up to 4 armor, and that is a good equalizer or neutralizer to Stim. Marines currently just lying in wait, waiting, as we are going to go into double medevacs. The timing for some medevacs should be in the next 30 seconds or so. So observers need to keep track and make sure that there are no drops. A factory also providing sight up onto the high ground. Combat shield now just being researched. It's going to be a little bit of time before it is completed. No additional command centers are being built, surprisingly, as we'll see what happens here. Marines and Marauders are going to make their way up the ramp. One Marine going to check if there is an expansion off at this location, and then we'll see what's going to happen with these Marines. Are they going to be able to even deal any significant damage on this front door? Immortal is ready. Zealots are ready here. And there's the scanner sweep. And what's going to be happening? There's the force field. And the scanner sweep, even though it was all the way over here, was able to spot the observer. And that's exactly what we needed. That's exactly what Prodigy needed to do, as we now see Marauders and Marines elevatoring up onto the high ground. And how is this all going to work out? That front door, Guardian Shield now up. Marauders and Marines, those force fields. I'm not quite sure if they actually affect the ground underneath it, as those units are currently just all trapped. Immortals and Marines now making their way down. Prodigy in a bit of trouble, being forced to pull back. Unable to do anything with that early attack there. No additional bases whatsoever. It looks like the factory will be able to fly away, and just continue to gain more sight into the base, as the Red Protoss player now running off of 6 gateways, 1 robotics facility, and he did use Blink, so he has revealed his tech path to his opponent. A little bit of a risky transition there, but we also see the robotics bay being added for Colossi. Prodigy now opting to do a drop. We'll see if this drop does any real damage whatsoever. Stalkers are now just going to simply lie here and wait. And now doing some smart blinking up onto the high ground. I always like to see that, as those Stalkers are going to be able to snipe down these medevacs. It really feels as though the Red Protoss player has Prodigy's number. He knows what his opponent is going to do well before he does it. You now see that the factory is still flying off over here, gaining a little bit of scouting information. Marines and Marauders, 2 more medevacs being added here. What is going to happen, as you see that the Stalkers are going after the factory? The medevacs are not moving on the south side. It looks like the factory now taking a bit of damage, down to 435 hit points. If the Stalkers actually leave the base, that would be bad news, as we now see an engagement over here. Immortals, 1 Zealot without charge, charging into battle. So without charge, I guess, running head on into battle. And now the medevacs are going to find a timing here where the stalkers are away. So really, really nice two-prong attack here. Marines, Marauders now destroying the assimilators. Perhaps going to try to take down the robotics facility before it is ready. More units need to be added, and the Colossus was not out. So Prodigy getting a bit lucky there. Marines and Marauders trying to fight back. Stalkers are blinking. Perhaps going to take down more medevacs. Meanwhile, over here, Immortals, Sentries, Force Fields are not the best right now. The Immortals are going to get melted away, and Prodigy catching the red Protoss out of position ever so slightly. What looked like was going to be a failed drop turned out to be a very successful one. A nice two-pronged attack. And this, while Prodigy has just established his third base. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.